Alright, you guys, ZFR back here once again, and as you all know, we are coming closer and closer to The Last of Us Part 2's release date. So I figured I would go ahead and make one more video pertaining to the leaks, because obviously I've been making a ton of Last of Us 2 content since well, really before the leaks came out, but after the leaks hit, we had quite a few videos on them, and I've even made a few videos debunking some of the stuff with the leaks. I've made a spoiler-free video for the leaks, so if any of you out there still haven't seen them, feel free to go and check them out. Now, as you all know, I've been very hard on the game because of what was in those leaks. Those leaks, the first set, there were multiple sets of leaks. A lot of people, I'm noticing, don't really realize this. A lot of people think that there was just one big leak for The Last of Us Part 2, and that's not really how it went down. There was one set of leaks that was a bunch of screenshots, and then along with that a couple video clips, and then a bunch of text and stuff of the person that leaked it explaining different things about the game and just spoiling a bunch of stuff. And then there was a second leak about a week or so later, where almost 2 hours of gameplay actually got leaked. Well, 2 hours of gameplay, cutscenes, and story stuff, etc. So a lot of stuff for The Last of Us Part 2 has been leaked, but a lot of it was debunked also. So pretty much, and I noticed this months ago, well, about a month ago or so, because the second set of gameplay that got leaked, that hour or so long clip, there was a lot of stuff in there that debunked a lot of more crazy leaks from the first set. And this video, by the way, is not going to have any spoilers. We don't need to really dive into the leaks to talk about this real quick here, but yeah, I figured I would just go ahead and kind of make one last video pertaining to the leaks, giving my final stance on them and how I'm feeling about them and the game, and just kind of get my final thought on the game out there leading up to its release, and everything I think about the game, everything I think about all the controversies that's been surrounding the game, and pretty much just where I'm at with it. So, getting into this, now at the moment, apparently Naughty Dog or Neil Druckmann did some interview and they debunked a few things in the leaks, mainly the ending of the game, which isn't really news. I mean, I guess it might be for some people who didn't get a chance to see the second set of leaks and stuff like that, but if you did, most of us have known for weeks now that the ending of The Last of Us Part 2 was not leaked. That was actually one of the leaks that was fake. So yeah, a lot of people figured that out months ago, not too long after the leaks happened. So yeah, and there was pretty substantial evidence in the leaks that pointed to the fact that we were not seeing that the ending of the game was not in those leaks. So pretty much, yeah, that wasn't really anything too serious. But a lot of people I'm seeing like people jump way overboard with this, saying, there's people running around saying that like 70% of the leaks have been debunked, or most of the leaks have been proven false. And guys, that's not really true, okay? I mean, once again, I guess if you're one of the people that combined the first set of leaks, which mostly got debunked by the second one, that's true. But the leaks, that hour and some change of gameplay and stuff, the almost 2 hours worth video of just straight leaks has not been debunked, guys. Like, most of that's still true, okay? Unless there was literally some old game stuff in there that's been taken out since, but I don't think so, since we've seen a lot of it in the trailers and stuff. Most of those leaks, most of the last part of the leaks you guys were hearing about, you know, the big second set, the stuff that has people upset pretty much, most of that is still absolutely true. Now, there has been confirmation from both people who have already played the game, because review copies are out for this game, people. Reviewers are playing this game right now. I believe June 12th is when the embargo lifts, so on June 12th, expect to start seeing a lot of reviews for The Last of Us Part 2 online. You're going to see a lot of reviews go up on June 12th. So, yeah, just be prepared for that. So, yeah, a lot of reviewers have pretty much been saying that most of the leaks, even though, yes, they are true, they were taken out of context, or not taken out of context. How did they say? I think one guy was saying that they were kind of misconstrued, or, you know, framed in a way that makes the game look bad or whatever. So pretty much what they're saying is there are certain scenes in the leaked footage that was removed from the leaked footage or whatever, or that was altered or changed. You know, basically somebody cut the leaked footage up really well and edited it together to make it look worse than it was. Now some of the stuff we've seen, my bad guys, had some music start playing in the background there, but anyway, yeah, most of the stuff we've seen, you know, it's stuff that one of the big arguments going around was that why are you guys judging the game off the leaks? They're out of context, this, that, and the third. And my big argument against that was always that the stuff that has people upset, there's not really much more context to be given on it. Now, and I still stand by that, okay? Even if some of these scenes are cut up in a certain way, there's only a few scenarios, guys, where I can imagine some of these scenes not being exactly what they look like from what we saw. And don't get me wrong, you know, I've been just kind of chilling out on The Last of Us Part 2, because I mean, people are going crazy over this game these past couple of weeks and stuff, and ultimately, you know, I've always been that guy who said I'm still going to get it no matter what. If it's going to be trash, I'm going to see it through to the end. Right now, I'm still very excited for the game. I'm just a little worried about the story. You know, I'm wondering how they're going to do specific parts of the story that's been confirmed by the leaks. Once again, no spoilers, but yeah, that's really just, that's honestly, that's all that has me concerned about The Last of Us Part 2 right now. And keep in mind, I'm not concerned that The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be a bad game, because I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I'm worried I'm more worried that it's going to come really close to being a masterpiece, and that it's going to end up not being a masterpiece because of certain things within the story. So, I mean, that's really the only thing, in my opinion, that is really left to figure out about the game. But, you know, there's still a lot of cool stuff that we haven't seen from the leaks, like the ending, of course, and everything. So, yeah, overall, that's how I'm feeling about the leaks themselves. You know, the leaks themselves, yeah. If you're still out there and you feel like, nah, I can't support this, I'm not trying to mess with that. That sounds a little too much to me. I know there's a lot of people out there who just aren't into what they're doing with this game. You know, they're just not going to be about that. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of what was in those leaks. And there is definitely going to be a few people who feel some type of way about it once the game comes out. Now that I know about it, I feel a lot more prepared for it. I'm not really as worried about that part of the game anymore, because, you know, I know it's coming. So I'm not really too worried about any of the stuff I've seen in the leaks anymore. I'm going to try my best not to let that hinder my experience, because gameplay wise, and the parts of the story that we've seen so far in the trailers and gameplay look pretty great. So I'm pretty sure one way or another, most of this game is going to be really good. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking or in the comments. Are you still going to buy The Last of Us Part 2, or are you thinking you're going to wait and stuff? How are you feeling about it? I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about that. But anyway, moving on, I just want to touch on a few other things I haven't really gotten a chance to touch on, because like I said, I want this to kind of just be my last video about the game leading up to release, or at least my last video about all the controversy and stuff leading up to release, unless something else crazy comes out, but I don't think it will at this point. And I just want to cover a few more things. So getting into this, the first thing I want to cover is pretty much Naughty Dog overworking their employees. Now, a lot of people are debating whether or not this is true, and I gotta tell you guys, from my point of view, it looks like it might be true. Alright, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed to be true because it hasn't been debunked. Some people out there think it's been debunked, that there was insane crunch at Naughty Dog, and I'm not talking about normal crunch, I'm talking about really high levels of crunch. But it was confirmed. I believe Jason Squat, I can't say his last name, you know who I'm talking about, a reporter for Kotaku pretty much wrote an article about that months before the leaks even came out. So yeah, and I believe there was even interviews with Naughty Dog employees where they were saying it's a good job and everything, it just would be nice, less hours. So yeah, pretty much the crunch and stuff is still there. So if you guys are bothered by that, I mean, just know that did happen. And I think that's pretty obvious for anybody that knows anything about game design by just looking at The Last of Us 2 and how long it's taken them to make it. I believe they didn't start working, and please correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I believe they didn't start full production on this game until after they completed Uncharted Lost Legacy, which was like back in 2017, 16, something like that. So I believe 16. So they've been working on this game full-fledged for about maybe a year. I mean, not a year. I'm crazy. Ignore that. Maybe about 4 years, I meant to say. And of course, they probably had other parts of the game going for about 5 or 6. But you get what I'm saying. Like, the bulk of the work has probably been done over the last 4 years or so for this game. Because I remember back when we were all waiting for more news on it, they were keeping us up to date of when they were going to start really working on and stuff. I remember specifically them saying they had most of their team working on Lost Legacy. So they haven't been working on The Last of Us Part 2 too long. That's my point. So and if you know anything about game design, and I did go to school for computer programming and animation and stuff like that for a while, so I do know a thing or two. And just looking at some of the stuff in this game, it's not 4 years worth of work, guys. It's a lot more. It should have taken them a lot longer to make this game, but that's just how hard they were working. That's just how much work has been put into this in such a short amount of time. They were definitely crunching for this. That's my point. So if that bothers you, just know that was probably a part of the development cycle. But also know that every studio probably goes through that to a certain extent. I don't think not buying the game is going to help them. I think that in that case, you're a lot better off just speaking up about it, kind of condemning it, and maybe they'll change. Rockstar recently fixed that problem over at their studio. Now, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to The Last of Us Part 2, and this is going to be a real controversial one, but I want to talk about a lot of the other YouTubers who have been covering this topic. Now, I'm not going to start naming people directly, because I mean, people on YouTube love excuses for drama and stuff, and I can't really blame them. It sells, but pretty much, if you've been keeping up with The Last of Us Part 2 on YouTube, and this is a big part of the reason why I've kind of, starting to lighten up on the game just a little bit, because there's a couple different camps of people on YouTube when it comes to this game. There's the people who will defend this game to no end, to a disgusting degree, in my opinion, to the point where no matter what happens, this game is already a 10 out of 10 in their mind. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a super fan, but there's some people who are willing to go to extreme lengths to defend how bad the spoilers looked, and who obviously said a lot of things that I personally disagree with, and that I just think were maybe worded poorly. But I don't know, I don't really feel sorry for some of the people that have said things defending this game and gotten some backlash. You know what I'm saying? And obviously you have the big groups of people in the comment sections and stuff who were still going to buy the game, who didn't want to see the spoilers, people who didn't see the spoilers, but somehow were acting as if the spoilers couldn't have been as bad as everyone who did see them was saying. A bunch of crazy stuff like that. Then on the other side of things, you had the people who leaned kind of a little bit more on my side of the fence, where they pretty much weren't happy about the spoilers. However, where I kind of have to start disagreeing with these people is when it goes from addressing the original problem to just attacking anything you can find about the game. And I'm pretty sure you guys can eventually figure out the type of people I'm talking about here. The people around YouTube, they're all pretty popular when it comes to Last of Us Part 2 right now. But when you get to the point where every little nitpick thing you can pick out about the game is a problem, it's just like, come on, man. I get the spoilers look bad, but you're not really helping get the point across to people who maybe haven't seen them, or people who didn't see all of them or whatever. You're not making yourself look like a very reliable source when you come across as eager to, just insult every aspect of the game. For instance, I saw people who were making a big deal about the dogs. Listen, who really cares? And there were some people on YouTube who I know do not care about, killing the dogs in the game, but they still made the videos about it for clout and stuff like that. I thought that was ridiculous. There's the whole we don't use the word fun debate going on around the internet, where back when people were asking, or interviewers were asking Neil Druckmann about it, he said we don't really use the word fun to describe the game. People know y'all know what he meant. I mean, anybody who's played Last of Us Part 1, anybody who looks at Last of Us Part 2 understands what he's trying to say. I mean, you can look at the game and decide for yourself whether or not it looks fun or not, but obviously it's a very brutal game. It's a very brutal and cold story and stuff like that. Very mature setting and all that, so it's not exactly you wouldn't maybe advertise something so dark as fun, but obviously it is going to be fun. It's just going to be a different kind of fun, I guess you can say. But you know what I'm saying? People just took that and exaggerated that, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy about the leaks too, people, but I'm not going to discredit the game where it does some good. For instance, going back to the whole fun thing debate, what really started to kind of make me realize some of these people were just in this for the clout was when they started kind of trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, when they kind of started to look down on features that gamers have been waiting for years, for decades, generations, you know what I'm saying, for it to come to games. Like for instance, The Last of Us 2's AI, where the enemies all have names and stuff, or they all react to each other's deaths. You know, people trying to make it sound like The Last of Us Part 2 is a depressing game that just wants to make you feel bad about everything that happens in the game or everything you do in the game. You know, trying to put a really negative spin on that system when, guys, like, this is what gamers have been wanting for years. Okay, this is some really high quality stuff that even if you don't like the way it's used in Last of Us Part 2, can really just, you know, push gaming forward in the future. So I didn't really like that people were coming after that. I thought that was really stupid. In my opinion, at that point, you're just as bad as people like Anita Sarkeesian and the SJWs, because, you know, at that point you're just criticizing something and you don't care about the effects that it can have on the industry and stuff like that. I personally didn't like that. So yeah, in my opinion, both sides, people who aren't happy with The Last of Us Part 2 right now and people who are, and even some people who are indifferent. I mean, I feel like a lot of people aren't being, you know, what's the word, genuine. I feel like a lot of people aren't being honest or not being genuine with the game on both sides. You hear me? Like, even like the people who seem really excited about this game, because there's definitely some people who are suing for this game completely right now. I mean, listen, let's see how it looks when it comes out, because those spoilers were still pretty crazy. And I'm sorry, but this game, even though it looks amazing in all the gameplay demos and stuff we've seen, the spoilers I saw kind of, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, man? Like, I need to play this myself. I need to see how the game plays out before I start saying this is going to be game of the year or something like that. So yeah, I've just been trying to sit in the middle of the fence on that one, because, you know, I don't want to come off as super biased to you guys in any way, because you all, even though I technically am, because you all know I'm a massive Last of Us fan, so I've always been very excited for this game, and I still am. Do the leaks have me a little bit worried? Yes. But am I still excited? And am I going to give this game a brutally honest review when it comes out? Absolutely, because I want you guys to have a channel to come to where you know that the reviewer is going to be very honest with you about this game. And with that being said, guys, that is all I really have to say about Last of Us Part 2 at the moment. Yeah, I'm still excited for the game. Can't wait to play it. Can't wait to review it for you guys. I've been thinking, going back and forth, whether or not I'm going to stream it or just do a old school walkthrough of it on the channel. I really haven't decided yet. You guys know my PlayStation is loud. Everybody's PlayStation is going to be loud while playing this, so it's going to be really hard to get that good audio unless I edit every episode up really well. And honestly, I don't think I really want to go through that while I'm playing the game. I think I'm just going to play through it on my own. I might record some things so you guys can get my in-game reaction to it or stuff like that. However, you know, I'm not really sure if I'm going to go ahead and record the entire game completely. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to leave likes and comments down below. Tell me what you guys think of The Last of Us Part 2. Which side of the fence are you on in this debate about the game and stuff with all the controversy? Are you done with it? Are you just ready for the game to come out and so you can play it? Or are you kind of just saying, nah, I'm not going to get it, or I'm going to wait for reviews? Just let me know where you're sitting. But overall, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we are going to be talking about a ton of Last of Us Part 2 when this game drops. I am going to be giving you guys a ton of Last of Us Part 2 on the content, and obviously this is the place to come if you want the most balanced opinion on this game. Perfectly balanced as everything should be, right? But anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. I will see you on the next one. ZFR out.